In 1967, a high school teacher in California decided to play a game. He wanted to answer a question his students kept asking him. They looked at the footage of Nazi Germany, the concentration camps, the salutes, the marching, and they asked, how? How could the German people claim they didn't know? How could they just follow orders? The teacher, Ron Jones, didn't give them a textbook answer. Instead, he decided to show them. He started an experiment on a Monday. By Thursday, he had lost control of his classroom. By Friday, he had created a fascist micro-regime that was ready to commit violence for the cause. It didn't take years of propaganda. It took 5 days. This is the story of the third wave. And the terrifying truth is, you would have joined it too. Day 1. Strength through discipline. It began innocently. Ron Jones walked into his history class at Cubberley High School and wiped the chalkboard clean. He started ordering the students around. Sit up straight, he told them. Feet flat on the floor, hands behind your back. He drilled them. Stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down. He timed them with a stopwatch. They went from a chaotic group of teenagers to a single, efficient machine. They could enter the room and take their seats in complete silence in under 5 seconds. And here's the scary part. They didn't hate it, they loved it. The students later described feeling a rush of power. For the first time, they weren't just bored kids. They were a unit. They felt focused. They felt superior. Jones had hooked them with the first drug of fascism, discipline. Day 2. Strength through community. Jones walked in and escalated the game. He told them that discipline wasn't enough. They needed unity. He created a salute, a cupped hand brought to the chest. It looked like a wave about to crash. He called it the third wave. He ordered them to salute each other in the halls, and they did. But then, something strange happened. Students from other classes started asking to join. They saw the salute, they saw the focus, and they wanted to be part of the in-group. They began chanting together in class. Strength through discipline, strength through community. The individuality of the students was evaporating. There was no more I. There was only the wave. Day 3. Strength through action. This is where the experiment turned dangerous. Jones issued membership cards, but he added a twist. He assigned 3 students to be the secret police. Their job was to report anyone who wasn't following the rules or who spoke against the movement. You would think the students would rebel against being spied on. They didn't. In fact, Jones appointed 3 spies, but by the end of the day, 20 students had come to him with reports. They were snitching on their best friends. They were betraying their own morals just to prove their loyalty to the leader. The class expanded. It wasn't just 30 kids anymore, it was 200. Students were cutting their other classes to sit in on the third wave. Physical fights broke out in the hallways between members and non-members. If you didn't do the salute, you were the enemy. The most terrifying part? The students who used to be the outcasts, the lonely, the bullied, the socially awkward, they became the most vicious enforcers. The wave gave them power. The wave gave them a tribe, and they were willing to crush anyone who threatened that tribe. Day 4. Strength through pride. The experiment was spiraling out of control. Jones realized he had created a monster. He had to end it, but he couldn't just say, stop. They wouldn't listen. He had to break the spell. He walked into the packed classroom. The tension was electric. He told them a lie. He said, the third wave isn't just a classroom experiment. It is a national program. We are finding students like you all across America who are willing to fight for order. He told them that on Friday at noon, the national leader would appear on television to announce the start of the movement. The students cheered. Some of them cried tears of joy. They believed they were part of history. They were ready to march. Day 5, the rally. It was Friday, noon. Over 200 students packed into the auditorium. Ron Jones marched to the front. He turned on a television set facing the crowd. The room was dead silent. Hundreds of eyes were glued to the screen, waiting for their leader to give them the command. 1 minute passed, 2 minutes, nothing. Just the static hiss of a blank channel. The students started to look around. They were confused. Some started to panic. Finally, Jones walked to the microphone. He looked at his army, and he dropped the bomb. "There is no leader," he said. "There is no national movement. You have been manipulated." He turned on a projector, but instead of a leader, he played footage of the Nuremberg rallies. He showed them the Nazis marching. He showed them the gas chambers. He told them, "You thought you were the chosen ones, but you are no better than the Germans you studied. You traded your freedom for the comfort of discipline. You would have been good Nazis." The room collapsed. Students started screaming. Others burst into tears. They threw their armbands on the floor. They walked out of that auditorium in total silence. They couldn't look each other in the eye. For years, nobody at that school talked about the third wave. The shame was too deep. Ron Jones proved his point. Civilization is fragile. Morality is fragile. We like to think that we are good people. We like to think we would never hurt our neighbors. But deep down, we are terrified of being alone. We are terrified of being outside the tribe. We think this is history, but look around you. Look at social media. Look at cancel culture. Look at modern politics. We are constantly signaling our loyalty. We wear the digital armbands. We chant the slogans. We destroy the lives of people who don't do the salute. We demand total conformity. If someone steps out of line, we report them. We exile them. We feel that same rush of self-righteous power that those students felt in 1967. We haven't evolved. We just changed the uniform. The third wave proved that inside every human, there is a fascist waiting to be activated. It doesn't ask for your hate. It asks for your loyalty. It offers you a solution to your loneliness, and all it costs is your soul. The next time a group offers you strength through community, check the price tag, because the wave is always waiting to crash.